Well, we've come to another Cumbrian Neolithic site. This is called Long Meg and her daughters. It was put here about 5,000 years ago by Neolithic peoples. And of course, since then, there's been a lot of progress. How do you see the progress of the last 6,000 years in one sentence, Professor?
Very slow.
Yeah.
No, it's interesting looking at progress because there are these epic points where you get change.
Yeah, rapid change.
And then you get a consolidation and technology refines it, and that's what still happens. That even in our modern life, we look at changes, but very often they're subtle changes from epic changes.
I mean, if you think about the changes in our lifetime, I mean, dear me. You were just commenting about the sat-nav on the way out. You said, isn't it amazing we've got this live feed? It comes from a satellite and you know exactly where you are. I remember getting lost repeatedly. Every time I went to a city, I'd get lost, and now we've got this amazing technology. It's just transformational in the last few decades, I would think.
I mean, the things we take for granted were things we could not possibly have even imagined when we were young kids and young adults. And I often say, well, what are our kids going to be taking for granted in 30, 40 years' time that they can't imagine or we couldn't imagine right now?
Indeed, yeah. So there's been massive progress. Do you think progress is inevitable to the human condition? Is there something fundamental about humankind that makes us progress? Or do you think it's possible in the future we could potentially stagnate or even regress? How do you see the future?
Yeah, I would think we stop being humankind when we stop progressing. The important thing is how we progress and what our goals are to progress towards. I think that so much of our progression has been happen chance and a clever idea, and then someone picks it up and says, well, we can utilise that. So it's a combination. To me, it's technology right through the ages that have made the changes. You know, you go back to steam, and you had a pathetic little steam engine emptying a coal mine, and then all of a sudden you got a train service within 100 years running throughout Britain and even our country in Australia.
But there has been cultures, we're not allowed to mention specific cultures now in case we're accused of various things, but there's been cultures that have stagnated for very long periods of time and have not progressed. So is it possible that we could do that, or is it possible that things could even regress? Do you think we could stagnate?
No, I know what you're saying. Most cultures have progressed.
Most have.
And I think we have to progress because that's the driving influence of humankind. How can we do things better, faster, more efficiently? We can see it year by year. Our current dilemma is how do we handle not automatic technology. Artificial intelligence. And on one hand, it's a bizarre situation. The break on all of this is that now we're suppressing communication, information transfer, and free speech. So it's we've got this schismatic sort of approach to life, haven't we?
Exactly. So there's this idea that artificial intelligence could result in exponential growth of human knowledge and thereby human power. But I think what you're saying is this must be mediated through social progression as well. And if we had social regression, which is possible, so for example, if we had people controlling this, for example, people in power controlling this, that means they could control pharmaceuticals, it means they could control food, it means they could control what we're allowed to say, what we're not allowed to say, and we've already been inhibited on this talk by that already. The possibility of almost infinite, unimaginable power with artificial technology, artificial intelligence and new technology, combined with social repression, to me is a real and present danger that could potentially result in a new dark age of control. That is my fear. That's kind of one of the main things that's motivating me at the moment. Am I just being completely paranoid?
No, I think it's a very accurate observation. I think that what has happened throughout time and history has been this progression, but corrections. And the corrections are essential. The question now is, given the expansive nature of technology, are our corrections good enough, able to ensure that the modal direction of progress is good?
Yeah. And of course, in the past, we've had little warlords have jumped up and controlled maybe empires or even continents, but it was never global because they didn't have the global communication now. Now we've got the potential for a not very nice force who can have global influence and therefore could control potentially everyone in the world. Because what it seems to me is we're seeing a particular philosophical movement, if you want to call it that, or you could say a particular oppressive movement, and that's taking place in New Zealand, Australia, Canada, the United States, the United Kingdom, Europe. It all seems to be happening in a coordinated way. So the advancement seems to be, the advancement in technology seems to have been used to develop social modalities of control. And I see that as a potential risk to future scientific development and future social development. I fear a dystopian dark age is possible, and I hope I'm just being paranoid, am I?
Yeah, I hope. The only time I've ever said I hope you're wrong, John, because I think what you're describing has been going on for a long, long time. That as technologies developed, powers become able to overcome. I think the idea of human rights has evolved along beside all of this. And to me, the great schism is this clash between human rights, which is like a servo feedback mechanism, and the capacity for technology to empower. And power is a terrible thing when it's in restricted hands.
Yeah, but if we get it right, if we can use this technology for the good of everyone, then the potential for the technology is really quite limitless for good. It's a case of how it's socially controlled. It's not good or bad. It's like any invention is not good or bad. It's the way people tend to use it. And what makes me a little bit pessimistic is people have tended to use new developments for their own greedy purposes. And that is now possible on a global scale, which is a concern. And I know quite a few viewers share this concern as well, something we have to really guard against. But for now, how does it feel to be in a 5,000-year-old stone circle?
Very small, very small.
It really, for me, it puts me in the context of this last 5,000-6,000 years of human history, and they are really quite special places. So we'll take a walk round and enjoy the stone circle. But for now, thank you for watching.
You can see we've been practicing this for a long time.
Zoom in a bit.